I've said it before, I'll say it again. Do not Google Evan Fournier's last name. If you want to look him up, you gotta do the full name or you're gonna regret it. And this is an intro, an awkward intro, but an intro nonetheless, to the X Factors of the Southeast Division of the Eastern Conference. We saw Fournier in the Magic, there's Kemba Walker in the Charlotte Hornets, Mr. Reliable of Paul Millsap in the ever-declining Atlanta Hawks. What the hell happened to them? John Wall is trying to keep things afloat with the Washington Wizards, and the X Factor of that team definitely makes his day easier. And we also have the Miami Heat with Hassan Whiteside. And we're actually going to start with the Miami Heat here. Because they're not a very good team, again, I want to look to the future for the X Factor on this team. There is Justice Winslow already. Fantastic defensive player. Seems like a natural leader, and he has made strides when it has come to his ball handling as well as his playmaking this season. But I don't want to put Winslow here because I think he's a bit of a safe bet. The only thing we ask is that he develops that outside shot. Josh Richardson, who I believe is the X Factor of Miami going forward, he already showed a lethal outside shot last season at 46%. He was able to come out of nowhere and be someone that the veterans of the team could kick out to. But now that the Luol Dengs, Dwayne Wade's, Chris Bosh's, by the way, Chris Bosh is in the footage here, please forgive me, it'll be okay. Now that they're all gone, Richardson is asked to be more of a scorer, and he comes off of an injury this season, so it might take him a minute. But if Richardson can develop a real offensive game, I think it could make Miami's rebuild a bit easier, because I think a natural progression for them would be selecting a younger point guard and perhaps trading away Goran Dragic. He has been good lately, but maybe you want to get younger there. And I think if Richardson can provide you with spacing and perhaps 15 plus points every night, he could really make it easier for you. And given that he's younger, it's like, what is he going to be? Is he going to be someone who can really put the ball on the floor, attack off the dribble, score in the pick and roll game? He does have a nice pull-up jumper. Or is he just going to be a spot shooter? I think that's going to be the interesting thing with Josh Richardson. That's a weird pose to do in that situation, but hey, do your thing. And also, given that Justice Winslow is going to be developing that outside shot over the next few seasons, it'd be really nice to have the guy next to him be a knockdown player. So, depending on how Josh Richardson develops, could make Miami's next few seasons a bit easier at the shooting guard position. And as for the Charlotte Hornets, they have a slew of nice defensive players. Nicholas Batum, depending on what day of the week it is. There's also Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, who remains one of the best defenders in the league, as well as one of the worst shooters, because apparently I have to mention that. Marvin Williams has elevated himself to baby Draymond at the small ball 4 spot. And offensively, Kemba Walker carries quite a load for them. Ironically, this clip does not show him scoring. But the X factor of this team, to me, is Cody Zeller, who may look like your accountant, if your accountant was 7 feet tall, or like 6'11 or whatever. But your accountant is also very damn athletic, and knows how to score in a pick and roll, as well as catch alley-oops around the rim. Did anybody know Zeller was this athletic? For a while he was billed as a shooter at the power forward position, and then he shows up and he's like Nerlens Noel, slightly worse. Zeller's ability to score in the pick and roll, as well as just out-athletic other big men when it comes to scoring, it's just very damn impressive. He will dunk on your head if you're not expecting it. Rebounding-wise, he's not the best, although the Hornets are always to the top of the league when it comes to defensive rebounding rate, so teams aren't getting a lot of offensive rebounds on him and the team. But where he really shines with that athleticism is the defense. And it's the defense that doesn't often show up or blow up out of your TV screen. The guy scored there, but it was good defense by Zeller, I think. He just does the little things, whether it's defend the pick and roll, stop the point guard from attacking inside while still being able to keep the opposing big man honest, switch on to someone on a pick and pop, or simply provide like a quick trap to the point guard and then be able to get back to his man. He knows when to double team. Zeller's ability to just move around the floor really well and be smart defensively go a long way. And he's a huge reason why the Hornets remain one of the top defensive teams in the league. Now, the Atlanta Hawks might be your grandfather's favorite team, or not, depending on how he feels about three-pointers. Kyle Korver shoots a lot of them. And sure, Paul Millsap may be the best player on this team, as he shares a lot of similarities to Tim Duncan, even if he's nowhere near the same player. But Korver allows Atlanta to really go. Similar to J.J. Redick yesterday in the spacing he provides for the Clippers. Similar thing for Kyle Korver, although I do think Atlanta does perhaps a better job of utilizing the spacing that Korver provides than the Clippers do. Of course, he's very good at just finding ways to get open. The certain spots that they put him on the floor really allow other guys to just have a lot of room to operate. Shout out to Korver or Ashton Kutcher, because they look exactly the same, for hanging around the league long enough to get to the point where white guys who could only shoot three-pointers became insanely valuable because of how good threes are nowadays. Look at this right here. You can't bring help on Dwight because Korver's chilling in the corner. And that was like the one time Dwight Howard scored in the post in the last 3 seasons, and it happened in this video. So that's cool for Dwight. Korver's great. He provides spacing. He's a knockdown shooter. And he's a good dude. Well, I'd like to think he is. I never actually met him. Now, the Orlando Magic, their season has been going kind of crappy this year. There's a lot of fluctuation on that roster. And I'm just waiting for Aaron Gordon to get the right opportunity, man. They've got him at the small forward position at times because Ibaka's the starting four. I don't agree with that whatsoever. I think Aaron Gordon, the athleticism that he possesses at the power forward spot, could make him really damn effective. And that's why he's the X factor for them moving forward, because I just want to see what he can become. I mean, he can be a force on the fast break as well as in the pick and roll, someone who can finish. I mean, you remember how good Blake Griffin was at scoring even when he couldn't shoot? I mean, if Gordon could develop that, that would be great. Maybe he could learn how to post up. I don't know. Maybe that's asking a little too much of him. But I definitely do think the athleticism he possesses could make him really effective on both sides of the floor. I mean, with his size and just natural movement, I think he could really be a top defender in the NBA and able to defend multiple positions. Someone just needs to tell the Orlando Magic, as well as Frank Vogel, that Aaron Gordon is not a small forward. Hopefully that happens. I don't know if it's going to, but I think there's a lot of potential with Gordon. I mean, in this footage, I have him continually playing good defense on DeMarcus Cousins, so clearly the guy can play defense, right? I think that's how it works. I don't know. Now, for our last one, we're going to the Wizards. Who doesn't love John Wall? I'll tell you who doesn't love John Wall. Al-Qaeda. And that's a joke from Craig Ferguson. Shout out to Craig. John Wall's a beast, one of the best point guards in the NBA, and the X factor of the Wizards has been a guy who's really clicked with Wall for a while now. That is Marcin Gortat, the, at one time, Polish hammer, who seemed like he was kind of a mythical creature coming off the bench 10 minutes a night for the Orlando Magic behind Dwight Howard. He then became the Mohawk hammer, if I can think of a corny nickname when he had that weird hairdo. Now he's back to the Polish hammer, I guess. His pick and roll game with John Wall is really damn strong, and it takes advantage of what Wall does so well, which is attack inside, and it creates moments where the defense has to provide help. Someone can get open where John Wall can find them, and a decent amount of the time it is Gortat himself. He's not going to jump out of the gym athletically, and that alley-oop made no sense, but he can definitely move, and I think being able to move in basketball is a pretty decent deal, as we see John Wall throwing that very alley-oop to him. Listen, if you were in a dark alleyway at midnight, one, I don't know why the hell you'd be there, but if you found yourself in that situation and Marcin Gortat was in the same alleyway, you'd probably be pretty terrified. And I think that constitutes reason for him to be a good center in the NBA. Or something. Listen, he can finish a pick and roll, he has good chemistry with John Wall, and that's the story that I'm sticking with. We gotta get to the end before this video just completely falls apart. Let me hit you with the outro. Cody Zeller, he looks like he could star on Modern Family, which was a good show for about 2 seasons, and now I'm pretty sure it sucks. Maybe it's come back, I don't know. We got Kyle Korver, aka Ashton Kutcher, aka dude who has one more All-Star appearance than me. Aaron Gordon, who I really want to see at the power forward spot, which means we're going to have to wait one whole season with Serge Ibaka until he leaves Orlando. And then Josh Richardson. Can he be a scorer for Miami? Can he make their rebuild easier? or is he just going to be a spot shooter off the bench?